Good day and welcome. Matthew here again. Manufacturers Cup Round 11, RedBull Ring and Group 3 cars. And this was an intense race, followed by a very intense qualifying session. So first of all, I wanted to get past Huzo right off the bat. I had a bit of a look, he went deep, he goes a bit wide. I pull up beside him. I know the Ferrari's got a bit more pull, a bit more grunt than the Subaru in a straight line, so I was hoping to get beside him and get past him into this corner. The outside line is not what you want going into turn 2. B-Spec Bob, who qualified second, unfortunately runs really wide there, falls off the track and falls back to just in front of me. But I do complete my pass on Huzo, getting ahead of him, which was, I thought, really important, and staying ahead of Conzio, who I thought was a real threat. So I was next looking to pass Ranger and B-Spec Bob. I'd qualified a little bit out of position. I felt I had a bit more pace to be sort of top, 2, 3 or thereabouts, but qualifying a bit of a slide. In fact, qualifying 2nd through 8th in this room were covered by less than 1/10 of a second. So that's just how tight this was. And even first place was only another less than 1/10 further up the road, so it was really close. In fact, this is the second room of the night and both rooms produced very tight qualifying sessions, less than a second covering the entire field. So that's really close for Oceania. I ran a little bit wide there. Conzio makes an aggressive move up the inside. He pushes me wide. I was really frustrated by that. It wasn't even that much of a mistake, but he put his nose up there. I can't turn in, so he goes down past me, and I stay enough in the track to not gift him a penalty this time around. So he got lucky with that move. I was compliant enough to let it happen, but really frustrated falling back 2 spots after I just gained a spot. It was pretty difficult for this car to get past the other cars. Huzo was slow into this corner, and I kind of went to attack him. He was really slow, being held up by Conzio. It compromised my run out, and therefore compromised my run down the straight to get him when he got his penalty. So we'll just jump back and shot from the onboard. So here we are. I know Huzo's got a penalty. I just need to get a good run out of turn 2 to get past him. I brake on my marks and he's really slow, so I have to go up the inside and really slam on the anchors, shift down again to get going again because it got bogged in second gear. And now I'm too far behind to take advantage of his half-second penalty. He does leave the door open to the right. I do take it. I can't quite see my braking marker. I go too deep. I try to pull it up. Not quite, and he goes and undercuts me. And he's on my inside. Right there he is. So I go to look down the inside for the left-hander. It's more just a scare. It's really difficult to pass, especially when you're behind there. So more just trying to scare him off the road. Doesn't work. He's too good for that. And I fall in behind. Quite frustrated that he's still where he is. Mostly my own fault for that, but he is where he is, and I really wanted past him. Jumping forward now to lap 4. I'd slowly gained up on the 2 ahead. There was a bit of a battle for sort of 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, as you see. Huzo and Conzio had joined the back of that train after our battles earlier, and I was slowly catching these guys. They both picked up a corner cutting penalty, and so I was just trying to close the gap to take advantage of their penalties. I do manage to get past Conzio here. I have a look at Huzo. I'm kind of down the outside of him, but he defends the inside. That was an easy defense for him. I wasn't quite close enough, and I was not going to go around the outside of him there. I get a good run out of the hairpin, decide to have a bit of a look once again down the inside, but once again, more of a scare tactic. I'm not going to be able to pass him through there. He probably knows it. Doesn't work this time. He runs a little wide, but no harm, no foul. And we carry on. At this stage, the Ferrari's tyres are good for 5 or 6 laps. So I was really pushing to get past Huzo as soon as I could. And this probably was part of my frustrations in this race of gaining that place early and then falling back behind Conzio and Huzo and having these battles, is that my tyres are, I'm on a ticking clock. It's a ticking clock. The tyres are going to go. And it's going to be harder and harder for me to be able to attack or move forward or move up the field. So I was just trying to get past him as soon as possible while my tyres were good to then hold any position. And I guess this comes back to my issues with qualifying. If I qualify 2nd or 3rd, the Ferrari would hold 2nd or 3rd you know, not easily, but it should be able to hold it. It doesn't really have the pace to move forward, and so it makes it a really difficult race when you qualify out of position. It's very hard to move forward and to hold on to that position. So it's more reliant on qualifying well and then maintaining that position. So I cause my own frustrations mostly, but I know this. It feels nice to get annoyed in the race and take it and blame the other drivers. It feels good in the moment. You know it's not their fault. They're just doing the best they can, but you're still going to blame them. So anyway, enough of rambling. Haven't quite got past Huzo yet. That's the target, and I see the battle up ahead. I was kind of expecting Monkey Man to fall back. I thought the front wheel drive car would burn its front tyres and then create a bit of a train. Unfortunately, he was in second early on. He's had a penalty and fallen back now, so there was not going to be a train, but he was my ultimate target. If I get past Huzo, I might be able to attack Monkey later on in the race. Lap 6, as you can see, and this battle is still raging. I'm just trying to get any sort of run I can. I see these guys going multiple cars wide into this corner. I know it's going to slow somebody up, so I just rely on getting a good run. Huzo tries to skip over the curb. It costs him dearly, so I move to the left to attack down the outside. He's got the inside covered. I can't do anything about that. Just hoping the draft and the performance of the Ferrari in the straight line will get past him. But the Subaru is so good on the brakes, and I can't do anything about it. I can't dive and throw the car into the corner, especially turn 3, that corner there, because it just burns the rear tyres and means I'm not going to survive the end of the race. So I just cannot attack really hard into these corners. Have to play the really patient game, and when you're frustrated, patience is not something you have a lot of in spades. And you see even here, lap 6, I'm kind of sliding through that corner. That is not good in this car. It just compounds the problem and makes it worse and worse as time goes on. But still, looking for any opportunity I can. Any battles that these guys have means they're going to be compromised in the next straight, and corner exit is so important around here. It's basically a track of 3 big straights followed by a squiggly bit, which doesn't really matter, but you need to get good runs out of here. This was an unexpected surprise. I did not expect to get up beside him at that point. I think I completely missed my braking point, and I was lucky to get away without tapping him. But I see once again a battle side by side, Monkey and Ranger going up here. Huzo's in the draft, so if I get a good run out of turn 2, we might be onto something. B-Spec looks to go deep. Huzo once again goes over the curb, gets a bit sideways, and I get into his slipstream for this corner. Now I want to go down the inside of him because he's defending the inside every time. He does leave the door open, so I'm not going to let him stop me this time. As late as I dare on the brakes, I kind of stamp on the brakes. I wasn't quite enough, so I lift off them a bit. He goes to the outside expecting to undercut me, but I pull it up on the apex and I'm through, and I was really stoked getting a nice clean pass on him because he's very tough to pass. The car is very good under brakes, really good into the slow corners, and my car is the opposite. So all the advantages go to him if it comes down to a braking battle into the corners. But he left the door open, I took the inside line and moved on through, and that's the only invitation I needed. Heading into lap 8. This is one of my last chances to make any moves really. I know lap 10 it's really on the defensive and just trying to survive. Monkey Matt and Ranger go in here. Ranger's just too deep on the brakes. I'm almost too deep on the brakes. I managed to pull it up. Ranger does a good job controlling his car because it gets very slippery out there and it's very easy to lose the car, and he could have wiped me out. So he did a good job controlling it. I gain another place. I'm looking at my rear view because I know Huzo's aggressive on the brakes. I see him kind of dive. I get a bit worried about this. I lift off the brakes to... No, actually I stayed on the brakes longer because I thought he was actually going to hit me then. I saw him coming. I thought he was going to hit me. And if you're on the brakes, the impact, well, you don't get pushed as far as if you're off the brakes and somebody hits you. So I stayed on the brakes a bit longer. Cost me a bit of time. And I thought at the stage, well, maybe Monkey's tyres are hurting. Maybe I can get him by the end of the race. I'm about a second back from him now. And I was holding pace, but I was certainly looking forward and not so much looking back at Huzo. I thought I had him covered. but I did not imagine the tyres dropping off quite so bad as they do. You see I'm now in 4th gear through that last corner. Usually it's the 3rd gear corner. If you're in 3rd gear now in the Ferrari, the rear end just steps out and it wants to go round on you. So you have to change the way I drive, slower into this corner, still wants to step out. It becomes a real death trap, this thing, in the last few laps. Coming up to the last lap now. You see the car gets a bit sideways, but a counter steer. I'm just watching Hugo in the rear view mirror. Monkey Matt is getting away from me at this stage, so I'm not going to catch him at all. It's more about preserving my 6th place and pull out a defensive line on Hugo going down the straight. I see he's not really going to attack me or get past me. He doesn't have the straight line speed to do so, so I take the racing line again, clout the curve on the inside through turn 1 and try to get as much drive down the straight as possible. I see he's in my slipstream. I'm going to take a defensive line, force him to take the outside line, which is not a good line to overtake. Late on the brakes as I dare, just got to pull it up on the curb and then put the foot down. The Ferrari does have better pull out of the corners. In a straight line it's a lot safer, so I just needed to go. I was on the inside line for this hairpin as well. Late as I dare, he looks to hold back and try to undercut me. I just park it on the apex so he cannot get past. He almost does. He gets a bit sideways, which gives me the breathing room I needed. He falls back about a 10th. And from here it's really difficult to overtake unless I make a big mistake. So I just needed to concentrate on driving the car as smoothly as possible to get away. This corner was where he was really catching up on me. I think he makes a bit of a mistake because he falls back even more and I wasn't that flash through that corner. So 2 corners to go, just have to hold on for 6th place. 4th gear, nice and pedestrian. B-Spec Bob drops it on the last corner on the last lap, gifting me 5th place. And I cannot believe it. That was so tough, that entire 10 laps to get this car to the end. So tough. So that was it from me. Been some really good racing at Manufacturers tonight. Both race 1 and 2 really close throughout both fields. It's just been some tough racing, and driving the Ferrari around here is even tougher. But enough of that. Good racing, good battle with Hugo. As frustrating as it was in the moment, we gave each other room. He gave me racing room, gave me the respect on the track. So, you know, really good racing from Hugo. He did a good job, which makes it all the more sweeter that I beat him. Yes. Yes. So thank you all for coming along and watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did like what you see, give us a like and a subscribe. Hit the thumbs up or whatever everybody else says. If you want to see these races live, check the description below. Follow me on Twitch. I do it every FIA night, Wednesday and Saturday. But until then, thanks for coming along, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.